Well, hello, friends. Welcome back to the car. Today, we are going to do another post-workout career advice video, and we have a question here from Watkins, who says, "Hey, Andreas, I am curious to see your take on my situation, if you could. I am a NEET of 2 years because I went through a type of burnout doing web stuff. I almost even gave up being a software engineer. I've been fired twice. The first time they screwed me, I feel like, and the second time I was late to work because of the train network in London at the time. And unfortunately, I think some mental issues I struggled with at the time played a huge impact. Although, as we all know, companies are prone to fire after you complete a project because your job is effectively done. As you can understand, this could be seen as a large setback. Steadily, I feel like I've got more competent since the time out, however, but it feels like getting my first job all over again. Do you have any advice, perhaps? I'm going to join an open source project soon. I feel like I'm HR's worst nightmare since I believe HR is largely a redundant corporate job in particular. I am not particularly great at lying or selling myself anymore either, which definitely makes it worse. Thanks to your videos, I decided I would try my luck at some systems programming as a junior, but I have no idea if they'll hire me. Controversially, my CV could be seen to be good, given my education, etc., but who knows? An Anon on G said nothing is worth knowing anymore, which, to be honest, is almost true in some respects. I should also mention that it's pretty likely I'm a high-functioning autist or have Asperger's. Thankfully, I've managed to fix a lot of social and anxiety-related issues. Thanks for reading my blog, Senpai." Okay, so, man, Watkins, I am, I am sensing a lot of young man angst in you, and that's okay. I've been there too. I recognize this. I recognize this feel. So, tangible advice for your situation. Okay, so the first thing you got to do is stop looking outside of yourself for reasons why things don't go your way. You didn't get fired because they screwed you at one job. You didn't get fired because of the London train network at the other job. You got fired because of you, and that's okay. You got to accept that and look inward and figure out what did you do wrong and what do you need to do differently in the future. Because looking outside for why things don't go our way, that's just a recipe for things never going our way. We have to look inward, and it's important to learn to be honest with yourself about what you're bad at and what you're fucking up. So, I think that's the first thing that you need to look at. And you also mentioned, various mental health issues, and I don't know if you are working with a doctor already, but if you're not, that's you should do that even before the other stuff, before anything else. These kind of things, like, these are serious conditions you mentioned, and they need to be diagnosed and treated. And untreated mental health issues or untreated mental health illnesses are terrible, and they're just going to ruin everything for you, and it'll be hard to get anything done if you don't get treatment for those. So that should be a priority. I guess I should have said that before the other stuff. Get your mental health issues, get mental health treatment, right? Like, and if you're already in treatment, then that's great. Stay in treatment, but that's super important. And then stop looking outside yourself for the source of your problems and look inside yourself, right? And you also mentioned that companies are prone to fire people after projects are done. I think that's not really the case in most companies. Trained employees have a large value to most companies, to the typical company, because when you've been with a company for a while, you've learned procedures and things that you know how to get things done inside that company, the way that company does stuff, and it takes time to train new people to do that. So employees who have been around for a while have additional value to a company. So In most cases, companies want to retain people. There are exceptions to that, but I do think that in the general case, that is a bit of a misguided view. But that just goes into the thing again about stop looking at outside reasons why you got fired, and accept that you got fired because of you, and start thinking about how you can improve yourself and what you can do better, so that your next job works out differently. And you also mentioned that you feel like you've gotten more competent since last time, and that's fantastic. It's really important to build up your skills, and I get maybe the impression I get from you is that maybe your technical skills are not necessarily the main issue that you need to work on, but that's not to say that there's no value in increasing your technical skill, right? Like, obviously that's always valuable, but I think you need to become a bit more cognizant of other aspects of your professional behavior as well, whatever they are. Like, I don't know you, I've never met you, I don't know what it is, but if you've been fired twice, as what I assume, I assume you're a young man, right? Like, if you've been fired twice already, you're doing something wrong, and you got to figure out what that is. And then you have a little bit of resentment towards HR. Again, more of this. There's nothing wrong with HR. HR is a well understood and necessary function in large businesses. Companies get HR because it's a lot of work to manage staff, and they're just people with different skills than we have. You know, they don't have technical skills; they have other skills, and those skills are very valuable to companies. That's why virtually every company ever has an HR department. And I think neither of us would enjoy working in an HR department. I've tried to make friends with HR people, and we don't even speak the same language, but they seem very nice and everything. It's just I don't know how to talk to them other than pleasantries. But I don't think you're their worst nightmare. I think you're just a paper in a pile, you know, paper in a pile of resumes, and when they let go of your paper, they let go of you, and that's okay. That's just HR. So don't overthink it. And then you also talk about how you watch my videos and you feel like you want to try your luck at some systems programming. That's really cool. Systems programming is a fantastic field, I think. And I think there's just huge potential for growth within that field. And one great thing about it is that systems programming, like the people who are into that, they know that you don't necessarily want to hire specialists to do systems programming. You want to hire like very flexible and fungible people. So at least in my experience, it should be a bit easier to get a job in systems development, just because they need people who can, be like chameleon programmers and just learn anything. So I would recommend taking on that kind of attitude, like, oh, I can learn anything, right? And by the way, that's for anyone who wants to get into systems development and wants to get a job doing that, one of the best skills that you can learn is like this kind of chameleon thing, where you get really good at fitting into new code bases and stuff like that. And you can practice that by going and hacking on random open source projects. Like if you work on a random open source project, a new one every week, for example, for a while, you're going to develop some serious skills at that, which are extremely impressive to anyone who's hiring for systems development jobs, in my opinion. But yeah, I think your problems are very common and very fixable, but the two important things here are if you haven't already, you really need to get serious about mental health treatment. Like, because I know a lot of people self-diagnose and then they self-diagnose and then they run around with these things as an excuse for why things don't go their way, as an excuse for why they behave weird and so on. And that's not cool. Like, if you're doing that, stop doing that. Go to a doctor, get a diagnosis. If you've done all those things and you have a diagnosis and you're in treatment, never mind what I just said. That doesn't apply to you. And then, regardless, stop looking outside for the source of your problems. Look inside. What are you doing wrong? What can you do better, right? And I'm partly saying this to myself in the past right now. I don't mean to sound harsh. This is just the best advice I can possibly give you because I have also been, young and angsty and felt like everything was against me and felt like everyone else was such a jerk and why wouldn't they just see that I was so great and why do I have to prove myself and all kinds of weird things. And really, the most important thing is to realize that you have control over these things that make people like you or make people dislike you. So I guess that's my advice to you. But I think if you can find a way to change your perspective on the source of your problems, then your problems are going to start shrinking, and eventually things are going to start going a lot better for you. That is really the best advice I can give you. So I hope you can hear me. I know that it might be unpleasant to hear these things and unpleasant to think about these things, but it is really important that because you're going to figure this out sooner or later in your life anyway, and the sooner you do, the more time you will save. Because until you figure this stuff out, you will be wasting a lot of your own time on just wondering why things don't go your way. So something to think about. But thank you for asking the genuine question. This has been my best answer that I can give you from personal experience and from a place of love, really. Like what I'm saying comes from a place of love because I've been this young man as well. Not exactly the same, but the attitude very much the same. And I wish someone would have told me these things. So there you go. Anyways, thanks everyone for listening in, I guess. And good luck to you, Watkins. I think you're going to be okay, but you gotta make some tough changes. But if you do, you're going to be fine. All right. So thanks for tuning in, everybody, and I'll see you next time.